Welcome in, everyone, to our deep dive into Flamencoschool Rosario in Groningen.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
It is, you've all sent in just a treasure trove of interviews and articles.
It's really impressive.
Yeah, first-hand accounts from dancers and musicians, and even a peek into the school's history.
Yeah.
And, wow, the founder's personality.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a force of nature.
Oh, yeah, definitely a force of nature.
So today we're going to trace how this school evolved the challenges of bringing flamenco to life in Groningen and what made it so special for those involved.
I think that's what I'm most excited to dive into.
Yeah.
Is, what is it that made this place so special?
Yeah.
Because, on paper, it's kind of an unlikely marriage. Flamenco in Groningen.
Flamenco in Groningen, who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly.
By the end, you'll understand how flamenco fostered such a dedicated community.
Yeah.
And its lasting impact.
I think it's really fascinating. We're not just looking at a dance school here.
Right.
But a real cultural phenomenon.
Yes.
And these sources really show how flamenco, with its raw emotion and intense rhythms, really resonated in a place you might not expect.
Right, and that's what makes it even more interesting, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So, okay, let's unpack this.
Okay.
Ellen Bos, known as La Rubia.
La Rubia.
Which means the blonde.
The blonde.
Is where our story begins.
That nickname itself I find really interesting.
Tell me why.
It speaks to how flamenco, so rooted in Andalusian culture, was embraced and adapted in a completely different setting.
Yes, and it's not just a superficial adaptation, right?
No.
It's really embedded into...
It's in the soul.
The soul of
Groningen.
Yeah.
Right. And Ellen's journey is really intertwined with the school's journey.
Absolutely.
Imagine a young woman in Groningen sees the film Carmen, and bam.
That's all it takes?
That's all it took.
One film.
She's hooked. She goes from student to starting her own school.
Initially teaching in various locations, just kind of hustling for spaces and building from scratch.
I can imagine those early days must have been quite a challenge.
Oh, sure.
The sources mention limited resources.
Yes.
Even a lack of zang.
Now explain what that is, because some people may not know.
Right. Zang is the singing.
Yeah.
The traditional flamenco singing.
Yeah.
Deeply expressive, raw.
Yeah.
That's the heart of flamenco singing. So its absence really highlights the challenges they face.
Really highlights that, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't have flamenco without...
You can't have flamenco without the singing.
Yeah, the singing.
The guitar, the dance, it all comes together.
Yes, it's so interesting.
It's essential.
How they persevered. And it wasn't just Ellen.
No. It takes a village, as they say.
It does. There were dedicated guitarists, too.
Yes.
Pascal Bertie, also known as Bertito. And Klooster.
These were all really important figures.
Yes, and they were shaping the school's sound from the early days, providing that essential musical backbone to flamenco.
The backbone, absolutely.
So do the sources tell us more about these early collaborations and how they influenced the school's unique sound?
Absolutely. I think the guitarists' stories really highlight the collaborative nature of flamenco.
Okay.
It's not just about individual talent, but the energy created when musicians and dancers come together.
Yeah.
And that synergy was really, really strong in those early days at Rosario.
I can imagine.
Take Pascal, for instance.
Yeah.
He wasn't just a skilled guitarist.
Right.
But a mentor to many students. And, that leads us to Los Pinitos.
Los Pinitos.
The Little Pines, the school's first performance group. And this group was more than just a stepping stone for many students.
Right.
They became ambassadors for the school, taking flamenco to new audiences in and around Groningen.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So we know they performed at local markets and festivals. What kind of impact did they have? Were they well received? Or did they face any challenges bringing flamenco to a new audience?
Oh, it was a mixed bag. Really.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The sources describe this hilarious incident at a performance in Holland-Seveld.
Oh, okay.
Where the audience was more interested in their beer than the intricate footwork.
Oh, no.
Imagine a flamenco performance competing with a local brass band.
Oh, my goodness. That must have been quite a sight to see.
I would have loved to see that.
I know, right?
It really speaks to the challenges of bringing a new art form to a place and finding an audience.
It really does, yeah.
But there are also moments of genuine connection.
Oh, good.
Where the energy of the dancers and musicians just captivated the audience. And those early performances were crucial in building a following for the school.
Yeah.
And introducing people to the magic of flamenco.
And that sense of bringing people together seems to be a key theme.
It is.
The sources mention a strong sense of community developing within the school.
Yeah.
People describe a shared passion, a supportive environment, almost like a flamenco family.
That's a recurring theme in these interviews.
Yeah.
This idea of, finding belonging.
Yeah.
And connection through this shared art form.
That's beautiful.
It is. And it's interesting how they contrast it with other dance forms. The fact that flamenco doesn't require a partner seems to have contributed to this feeling of inclusivity.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but that makes total sense.
Yeah.
Because in order to dance, you have to find a partner.
Right, you need someone else.
Right, and so this is just you and...
It's you and the music.
You and the music and the other people in the class, right?
Exactly, and the other people.
Yeah. And this family wasn't limited to the school itself.
No, it wasn't at all.
Right. It extended to the broader national flamenco scene.
Absolutely. It speaks to the power of niche communities. They create these pockets of passion and shared understanding that can transcend geographical boundaries.
It's amazing. And at the heart of it all was Ellen.
Of course.
She had this creative vision that pushed everyone to excel. The sources describe her commitment to high standards. Her evolution as a teacher, always searching for new ways to express the essence of flamenco.
It's that blend of passion and discipline, I think, that makes it a truly compelling leader.
Yes.
And it wasn't a static vision either.
Right.
Ellen was constantly evolving, learning, pushing the boundaries of what flamenco could be.
It sounds like her passion was infectious, inspiring those around her to reach for new heights.
I think so. I think people really responded to that.
Yeah.
That energy that she brought to everything she did.
Oh, and her collaboration with you is a perfect example of that creative energy.
Oh, that's right.
You developed innovative shows.
We did.
That blended traditional flamenco with theatrical elements and storytelling.
Yes, trying to bring something new to the stage.
Right. So those productions, El Dia, Flamenco Nightclub, Arco Sombras, Flamenco Cortinas.
That's right. Each exploring unique themes.
Yeah.
Pushing the boundaries of what a flamenco show could be.
That's fascinating. So it seems like Ellen was determined to move beyond simply replicating traditional forms.
She really wanted to dig deeper.
Yeah.
And explore the emotional and narrative possibilities within flamenco.
So was this drive for innovation something she developed over time, or was it always present in her approach to flamenco?
It's difficult to say for sure.
Yeah.
But the sources suggest that her vision evolved over time.
Okay.
As she gained experience both as a dancer and a teacher, she began to explore these new ways of expressing the emotions and stories at the heart of flamenco.
This evolution from pure technique to using those skills to tell stories and connect with the audience emotionally is such a key insight.
It is.
It shows how mastery is a stepping stone.
Yes.
Not the final destination.
Right. It's about what you do with that mastery.
Exactly.
How you use it to connect with people.
Exactly. And we'll delve deeper into those groundbreaking productions and the evolution of her teaching a little later.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's talk about something that truly set Flamencoschool Rosario apart.
That's right.
The coro.
The coro, the flamenco choir.
Yes. It's a bold move, bringing together singers, guitarists, and dancers in this unique musical collaboration.
And the sources mentioned how challenging it was to find singers.
Oh, it was very difficult.
Really?
Yes.
Who could handle the unique demands of flamenco singing?
Flamenco singing is so specific.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, hitting the right notes.
Right.
It's about conveying that raw, visceral energy.
That's so essential to flamenco.
So was it difficult to merge these different musical voices and create a cohesive sound?
It certainly had its challenges.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Flamenco singing is so deeply intertwined with the emotional core of the art form.
Yes.
And then blending that with the intricate rhythms of the guitar and the percussive footwork of the dancers.
Right.
It was a complex undertaking.
Oh, it sounds like a delicate balancing act.
It was a delicate balancing act.
Wow.
But when it worked, it was truly magical.
And it's amazing to think this was all happening in Groningen.
Yeah.
A world away from the traditional flamenco stages of Spain.
Right.
It's not Seville.
It's not Seville.
It's Groningen.
It's Groningen. But they were doing it.
They were doing it, and they were doing it well.
And they were doing it well.
And they weren't just replicating tradition, they were building on it.
They were adapting it to their own context.
And they weren't afraid to seek inspiration from outside sources.
No, not at all.
The sources mention their experience seeing performances by renowned flamenco artists like Rocio Molina.
Oh, yeah.
Did those experiences influence their own creative process?
Absolutely. Seeing those masters at work really fueled their ambition and pushed them to explore new possibilities.
It's a reminder that even seasoned artists need those jolts of inspiration.
Did you?
Those moments that remind them why they fell in love with their art form in the first place.
Right. You can get stuck in a rut, you know, and seeing someone like Rocio Molina just explodes everything open again.
And it gets those creative juices flowing.
Exactly.
So it's almost as if they were constantly absorbing and evolving, feeding that creative fire.
Always learning, always growing.
But we'll delve deeper into those influences and their impact on Ellen's teaching a little bit later.
Okay.
But for now, let's go back to the coro. This wasn't just a fleeting experiment, was it?
This wasn't just a one-off thing.
Yeah.
The coro became an integral part of the school, and it actually continued even after Ellen's passing.
Wow.
It's a testament to her impact and the enduring power of flamenco in Groningen.
That's a beautiful example of how a legacy can live on.
Yeah.
How the seeds of passion planted by one person can continue to blossom and inspire others.
It's really quite remarkable.
It is, and we'll talk more about the legacy of the coro and Ellen and all of that when we come back.
Looking forward to it.
After the break.
Okay.
So stay tuned.
The coro is exactly, and eventually she found a group of singers who were not only skilled vocalists, but also open to exploring the unique style and emotional depth of flamenco singing.
That open-mindedness must have been crucial. It's one thing to have technical skill, but it's another to truly embrace the raw passion and improvisational nature of flamenco.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just about the singers finding their place within the flamenco tradition. The guitarists and dancers also had to adapt, learning to work together in this new dynamic.
Yeah, I can imagine that required a lot of trust and a willingness to step outside of their comfort zones. Did the sources mention any specific anecdotes about that process?
There's a story about one of the early rehearsals where the singers were struggling to find their place within the complex rhythms of the music.
Oh, that makes sense.
You know, the guitarists used to leading the musical direction were initially hesitant to give the singers the space they needed to express themselves.
It's natural to want to hold on to what you know.
Exactly. But Ellen recognized the potential of this collaboration. She encouraged everyone to listen to each other, to respond to the nuances of the music, and to trust that something special would emerge from that creative exchange.
It sounds like she was quite the facilitator, not just in terms of technique, but also in creating a space where different artistic voices could come together and create something new.
She had a real knack for that.
Yeah.
You know, bringing people together and fostering that sense of collaboration. And eventually the coro found its groove. The singers began to improvise, weaving their voices around the intricate melodies of the guitars and the percussive footwork of the dancers.
That must have been incredible to witness. It's amazing how the coro not only survived, but thrived, becoming a testament to Ellen's enduring legacy.
It speaks volumes about the strength of her vision and the dedication of those who carried it forward. And this legacy wasn't just about performance, it was also about Ellen's evolving teaching style.
Yes, the sources mention a shift in her approach over time. She began incorporating more theatrical elements, more storytelling into her choreography. Was this a sudden change, or was it a gradual evolution?
It seems to have been a natural progression, a deepening of her understanding of flamenco's potential. You know, initially the focus was on mastering the technical aspects, the intricate footwork patterns and hand movements.
Right, the basics.
Exactly. But as she grew as an artist, she wanted to explore the emotional depth and narrative possibilities within the form.
That's fascinating. It shows how she saw beyond simply teaching steps. She wanted to empower her students to use those skills, to express themselves, to tell stories, to connect with the audience on a deeper level. Did the sources offer any insights into what triggered this shift?
It's difficult to pinpoint a specific catalyst, but it seems that her collaborations with other artists like yourself played a significant role.
Oh, great.
Bringing together different artistic perspectives and experimenting with new forms of expression likely opened up new possibilities for her.
It's always good to get outside of your own little bubble, isn't it?
It helps you see things in a new light.
Absolutely. I'm curious, did she ever face any resistance to this evolution? Were there people within the flamenco community who felt she was straying too far from tradition?
The sources don't mention any significant pushback. It seems that her deep respect for the tradition, coupled with her genuine passion for exploring new territories, earned her the respect of both traditionalists and those who were eager to see flamenco evolve.
That's a testament to her ability to balance respect for the roots of flamenco with a desire to push boundaries and find new ways to connect with audiences. Speaking of those groundbreaking collaborations, let's dive into those innovative shows we created together.
Oh, yes.
Each production from El Dia to Flamenco Cortinas explored unique themes pushing the boundaries of what a flamenco show could be.
Those were exciting times. We were constantly experimenting, blending traditional flamenco with modern theatrical techniques, playing with lighting and sound design, even incorporating elements of storytelling and character development.
Do you remember the flamenco nightclub show? We transformed the stage into this dimly lit, smoky space, complete with the sounds of clinking glasses. The atmosphere was incredible.
That show was a blast. It allowed us to explore the more intimate and emotionally charged aspects of flamenco. Louisa, with her portrayal of the aging dancer reminiscing about her past, was just brilliant.
Oh, she was incredible. She brought such depth and vulnerability to the role, expressing a lifetime of joy, sorrow, passion, and loss through her movements.
Her performance was so nuanced, so full of feeling.
And that guitar duel between Ruud Stoop and Donald van der Werf, it was electric.
They were phenomenal the way they traded licks each chord. A challenge, a riposte had the audience on the edge of their seats. It was like watching a classic Western showdown, but with guitars instead of guns.
And let's not forget Juan Penas, the charismatic singer who played the nightclub owner. His voice soared over the music, telling tales of love and loss. He truly embodied the soul of flamenco.
Juan was a force of nature. His singing had this raw power that transported the audience to another time and place.
And that ending with the old Louisa walking away as Juan and the singers surrounded the audience with their haunting farewell song, simply unforgettable.
It was a powerful moment. It broke down the barrier between the performers and the audience, creating the sense of intimacy and shared experience that lingered long after the final note faded.
It gave me goosebumps. It wasn't just a performance, it was an emotional journey.
Precisely. And that was the goal, to move beyond simply showcasing technique and create a truly immersive and emotionally resonant experience for the audience.
And it wasn't just confined to the stage. We took flamenco to some unexpected places like the flamenco flash mob at the train station. And that time we performed an ode to Groningen, reflecting on the earthquake damage right in the middle of the Grootmark. What are your memories of those unconventional performances?
Those were such fun, spontaneous moments. It was Ellen's way of saying flamenco is for everyone, everywhere.
Yeah.
She had this knack for making people feel like they were part of something special, whether they were seasoned flamenco aficionados or just happening to pass by.
It's clear that her vision extended beyond the walls of the school. She wanted to share the joy and passion of flamenco with the wider community.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to the heart of what made Flamencoschool Rosario so unique, the incredible sense of community that Ellen fostered.
The sources are filled with stories about the close bonds formed between the dancers and musicians, describing a supportive environment, a shared passion, almost like a second family.
It wasn't just about socializing. They learned from each other, pushed each other to improve, and celebrated each other's successes. There was a genuine sense of camaraderie, of supporting each other on their flamenco journey.
And this sense of family wasn't limited to Groningen, right? They were also connected to the wider national and even international flamenco scene.
That's the beauty of niche communities. They create connections that transcend geographical boundaries. You find your tribe, your people who share your passion and your language, even if it's the language of intricate footwork and soulful singing.
And as we touched on earlier, the fact that flamenco doesn't require a partner seems to have created a uniquely inclusive environment.
That's an insightful observation. It removes a barrier to entry, making it accessible to people who might not feel comfortable with the partnered aspect of other dance styles.
Right, and it creates a different kind of energy within the group. It's less about finding a partner and more about finding your own expression within the larger group, celebrating individual style while still contributing to the collective energy.
And that collective energy was palpable at Flamencoschool Rosario. It was a place where people could come together, share their passion, learn, grow, and create something truly special.
Absolutely. And it was all made possible by Ellen's vision, her drive, her unwavering belief in the power of flamenco to bring people together.
She was a true pioneer, bringing this vibrant art form to life in a place where it might not have been expected to flourish. And in doing so, she created something truly unique, a community that continues to celebrate her legacy.
Her impact extended far beyond the walls of the school. She was a mentor, a friend, an inspiration to countless people.
Her story is a reminder that one person's passion can create a ripple effect touching lives and leaving a lasting mark on the world.
It's inspiring to see how her dedication and vision touch so many lives. It really makes you think about the power we all have to make a difference.
It does, doesn't it?
Before we wrap up our deep dive into Flamencoschool Rosario, let's shift our focus to what it all means for you, the listener. What can you take away from this incredible story of passion, community, and artistic innovation? It's amazing to think this whole vibrant community all blossomed from one woman's passion ignited by a single film.
It really highlights how art can spark inspiration and set you on a completely new path.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many hidden passions are waiting to be discovered.
So many, right?
Yeah.
And Ellen didn't just follow her own passion. She created a space for others to discover theirs.
That's right.
The school became this hub, this catalyst for a whole community of dancers and musicians to connect, learn, and create together.
The sources really emphasize that feeling of family.
Yeah.
That sense of belonging, that shared passion. The support and encouragement were so essential to the school's success.
And it's fascinating how that family extended beyond Groningen.
It did.
Connecting them to the national and even international flamenco scene.
Yeah, it speaks to the power of shared passion to transcend borders.
Absolutely.
You find your people, those kindred spirits who speak the same language, even if it's the language of intricate footwork and soulful singing.
I love that. And a key part of the school's identity was that commitment to pushing boundaries, to exploring new possibilities within the flamenco tradition.
Absolutely. Always innovating.
Right.
Always trying new things.
And those innovative shows we created together are a perfect example.
They are.
We weren't content with just replicating traditional forms. We wanted to experiment.
Yeah.
To blend flamenco with theatrical elements, storytelling, modern stagecraft.
We wanted to create a whole experience, not just a performance.
And those experiments really resonated with the audience. They weren't just watching a dance performance. They were experiencing a story, a world, a whole spectrum of emotions brought to life through the power of flamenco.
Exactly. And it showed that, flamenco wasn't limited to one specific way of being expressed.
Yeah, right.
It could be adapted, transformed, infused with new ideas and perspectives.
So Flamencoschool Rosario wasn't just a place to learn the steps. It was a creative laboratory.
It was.
A space where tradition met innovation, where individual expression thrived within a supportive community.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And it all stemmed from Ellen's vision.
Yes.
Her drive, her unwavering belief in the power of flamenco to connect, inspire, and transform.
So what does all of this mean for you? What can you take away from this deep dive into Flamencoschool Rosario?
I think there are several key takeaways here.
Okay, I'm ready.
First, it's a reminder that passion can be a powerful driving force.
It can.
Ellen's love for flamenco fueled her journey, from those early days of teaching in makeshift spaces to creating a thriving school and a vibrant community.
It's a testament to the power of community as well.
It is.
The sense of belonging, the shared passion, the support and encouragement were all crucial to the school's success.
And finally, I think it's a reminder that tradition and innovation can coexist.
Yes.
We can honor the past while pushing boundaries, exploring new possibilities, and finding our unique voice.
What a journey through the heart of Flamencoschool Rosario.
It has been.
We started with one woman's passion, witnessed a community grow, and explored the creative energy that fueled it all.
And hopefully you, the listener, feel inspired to tap into your own passions and see where they lead you.
You've not only gained a deeper understanding of flamenco, but also seen how passion can create a ripple effect, bringing people together and leaving a lasting legacy.
And who knows, maybe you'll even be inspired to give flamenco a try.
That would be awesome. Think about the communities you're a part of, what makes them special. What role do you play in shaping their story?
How can you bring your own unique voice to the mix, just like the dancers and musicians of Rosario?
Keep exploring, keep creating, and keep the spirit of flamenco alive.